Story 1. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom she can't share a room or a bed with her boyfriend in my home? When I, 27 female, was in college, I met my boyfriend, and we moved in together, sharing a place with some friends after dating for a year. I was 19 when we met, and 20 when we moved in together. We decided from that point onward to take turns spending Christmas with our families, but the first year we were supposed to see mine, my mom made it clear my boyfriend could not stay, and we weren't sharing a room or a bed in her house. My dad argued in favor of letting it happen since I was an adult and living with him already, but mom said no. She hated that I wouldn't stay at their house then and instead booked an Airbnb. She said I should respect the rules of her house, and I told her I was, but I didn't want to tell my boyfriend to be alone on the holidays, and especially when his family had welcomed us together happily. After that, I made it clear there would be no coming to visit like that if I couldn't sleep with my boyfriend. My mom said it wasn't like we were married, so she had every right to that rule. 2 years ago, my dad died, and for 11 months, my mom has been in a relationship with her boyfriend. They don't live together exactly, but according to my brother, he was there most nights while he was still there. My mom and brother aren't really talking right now. My brother could hear mom and her boyfriend in bed, and he hated it, so he moved out. He's also 22 and had wanted to, but it gave him the push to move. My mom was furious and demanded to know why he was leaving out of nowhere, and she freaked when my brother told her he was tired of hearing them. It started mom off on him not being happy for her that she found someone again after dad died. My mom seems to be missing my brother being around, and she told me she misses having her kids around her, so she wanted to visit for a week or two soon. She wanted to bring her boyfriend along, and I told her she can't share a room or a bed with him in my home. I told her I do not want to hear that. She got mad at me and said she's a grown woman and should be allowed her freedom. I told her she was all right denying it to me, and I wasn't even planning to have sex in her house, but it sounded like she doesn't care if we hear or not, and I'm not dealing with it. I also told her I wasn't going to reward her with sharing with her boyfriend when she has been so strict with me about it. My mom accused me of acting like a petty child. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Your house, your rules. If she doesn't like it, she can rent an Airbnb. Not the a-hole. What goes around, comes around. Your mom. One rule for thee, and another for me. Your mom has her boyfriend over nearly every night and is apparently quite loud and can be heard clearly. Why would she miss having her kids around? Sounds to me like she wants free holiday accommodation for two. Not the a-hole, your house, your rules. I don't think she expected to hardly ever see her kids. Even when I moved, she had my brother, but he doesn't see her at all now, and I don't live that close. So I think that's a part of it. Hell, from the fight her and my brother had, it sounds like she wants us to hear her with him. What did she say to your brother? She told him it was a very bad reason excuse to move out, and that we should be happy for her. My brother told her being happy for her was different than hearing her go at it with someone. She told him that was proof he wasn't happy for her. And I don't know how to take that honestly. It's why it feels like some weird and twisted part of her wants us to hear. The other thing is, she never even tried to deny they were loud. She just acted like not wanting to hear it meant he was unsupportive. Not wanting to hear your parent slap genitals with someone means you aren't happy for them? Please repeat that back to her, because I'm betting all children everywhere would qualify for that definition of not wanting to hear them bumping uglies. According to my mom, it does. She acted like my brother told her to stay single forever when he said he was moving out because he didn't want to hear them. Maybe that's how she's taking it, but it's so reasonable. Her whole reaction to it was so weird and just gross. Not the a-hole. It will be marked as petty, but I think this is honestly what most children need to do. Most parents don't see their children as what they are, growing people, until they're married and have a house and kids and crap. Reaffirming this boundary that she set either leads to conversation as to why she did it to you or as to why she thinks she's above her own morals. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for telling my ex's wife to mind her own effing business when she confronted me in public over my ex's mom giving me a gift for my 30th birthday? I, 30 female, celebrated my birthday recently, and my ex's mom stopped by to give me a very nice birthday gift. Ex and I have been divorced for 6 years, but we have 2 kids together aged 11 and 9, so it was unexpected. I got along really well with his family when we were together, and we're still friendly when we see each other, but we were never close. When Ex's mom showed up with the gift, she explained she wished we'd stayed in touch more, and she wanted to honor the mother of her grandchildren, and she wanted to show appreciation for all I've done. It was sweet, and we spoke for a little while. The gift was sentimental in nature, which made extra special to me. It was a lovely gesture, and I never expected it to cause any trouble, but it did with my ex's wife. She confronted me in Target a week ago and started cursing and yelling at me for intruding in my ex's family. She told me the only reason ex's mom would get me a gift is because I'm trying to keep my claws in ex's family instead of accepting I'm an ex. She demanded I give the gift to her or return it to ex's mom and refuse to accept anything in the future. I told her to leave me alone, and I walked away. She approached me again as I was heading to pay. I tried to go around her, but she put her hand on the cart and told me I wasn't walking away from her again, and I would stop being so meddlesome and stop trying to push her out of her family. She told me I was nasty accepting a gift from ex's mom, and I had no business allowing something like that. I interrupted her when she started to attract some attention, and I told her to mind her own effing business and stay away from me because we have no reason to talk. I paid for my stuff and left before she could confront me again. The encounter pissed me off, but I was going to let it go. Then X started texting me later in the week, and he told me I needed to apologize to his wife because she's the stepmom to our kids, and I shouldn't be treating her that way. I replied that I did not appreciate her behavior toward me in public, and I would not be replying further. He told me I just needed to apologize and I was out of order, treating her like she was wrong to have her own feelings on this. He said I had damaged the co-parenting relationship between myself and them. I know I could have ignored her, but I know apologizing won't fix anything because I still have and wear the gift, which was a mother charm bracelet. Ex's wife will insist I need to return or dispose of it to let this go. And I don't think I'm wrong for accepting it. I can accept I may have been wrong for speaking to her that way, though. So am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. She's allowed to have her feelings. What she is not allowed to do is tell OP what she will and will not do. I have to wonder why your ex's wife is feeling so insecure. What is happening in that relationship? You having a positive relationship with your kids, grandparents, is a boon for all concerned, mainly your kids. Don't let her disrupt that. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I mean, she cornered you in a public space and caused a scene over a thoughtful gift you received for being a good mom. You don't owe her an apology for defending yourself against her baseless insecurity. If anything, your ex should focus on calming his wife down instead of enabling her unreasonable behavior. Tell him about the cursing and that you have nothing to apologize about after she accosted you repeatedly in a public place. She is the one damaging the relationship, not you. I would say don't bother telling the ex. OP should tell her attorney and the courts. This sort of behavior by a stepmom is definitely the kind of thing they will want to know. How is any of this your fault? Ex should speak with his wife and his mom if he wants to get at the root of this problem. Not the a-hole. Clearly, I'm supposed to reject anything from ex's family, even conversation, because who knows how his wife would react to seeing us talk in any kind of friendly way in public? She might have an even bigger outburst. I would be shocked if the wife told your ex the truth. I would state that being confronted and assaulted in public is not a legitimate method of expressing one's feelings. Furthermore, there is absolutely no reason to bring the kids into it or threaten their well-being. Your relationships have absolutely nothing to do with them. You expect all adults to keep this away from the children at all costs. If the wife has issues with her mill, that is their problem to fix. That lady is out of control. I'm positive she told a highly skewed, edited recreation to your ex. Maybe ask Target for the video and use it for a restraining order. I would let X know you are highly concerned about his wife's emotional stability, and maybe you need to revisit the custody arrangements for your children's safety, just to get his attention that his wife is truly batty. I've seen this suggested a few times, so I'll get in touch with Target and find out if this is possible. At the same time, notify your custody attorney that there is an issue between you and the stepmom. Explain it all. Start keeping copies of texts and calls. Copies of the security tapes are something the attorney could request. If your ex starts to get official-looking letters from your custody attorney, their behavior might greatly improve. Story 3. Would I be the a-hole for uninviting my aunt from a trip after she said I'm off my meds? I used to work in the tourism industry and would get awesome travel discounts for myself and a companion. In 2019, I traveled with my aunt, and we had a great time. We're close. We talk almost daily, so traveling together felt natural. But in 2020, I changed jobs and lost those discounts, which led me to start planning big trips every 5 years to make them extra special. I just turned 39 and began organizing my 40th birthday trip, set for next year. Originally, I suggested places like Iceland or a cruise. My aunt voted them all, saying she wanted a ship with a casino. Not my thing. Eventually, she seemed okay with a multi-city Europe trip. London, Amsterdam, parts of Germany, Switzerland, and Paris. My sister liked those destinations, but didn't want a motor coach tour. So I decided on a train-based itinerary. I also invited other friends' family to join whichever legs they liked, since I'm paying full price now. The conflict started when my mom mentioned that my aunt told her I must be off my meds for dreaming up such a plan. Here's where it stings. I have bipolar 2, diagnosed 12 years ago. I take medication and follow personal rules against impulsive decisions. I won't jump into something major without months of thought. This trip is more than a year away, so there's nothing rash about it. But my family sometimes attributes any emotional moment on my part to me being unstable, while my sister can have a bad day and get full sympathy. I'm upset that my aunt gossiped about my mental health, especially since I've asked her not to share my private details. She's done it before, but this time calling me off my meds felt disrespectful and hurtful. Now I'm thinking of uninviting her from the trip altogether. On the one hand, it feels harsh because we've traveled together, and I wanted everyone to have the option to join. On the other hand, this is my birthday trip. I'm covering my own costs, and I don't want to spend time with someone who dismisses my well-managed condition as crazy. So, would I be the a-hole if I told my aunt she's no longer welcome on my 40th birthday trip after she made those comments? Or should I just let it slide, knowing she'll gossip anyway? Edit. I had a number of comments suggesting the trip was free, so I think I phrased it incorrectly in the original post. I would be paying for myself, and everyone would be paying for their own portion of the trip. I'm considering their interests because they would also be paying to go on the trip. I don't like to travel solo, as I've had a couple of bad experiences in the past related to my mental health while traveling, so it's something of a safety in numbers situation. My aunt is retired and widowed, so it's easy for her to join me on trips. Since my sister expressed interest, I would be able to go with just my sister, so I still wouldn't be solo. I get that it seems like I'm bending over backwards to accommodate everyone else, but it's to my benefit in that I can travel with someone who is just as excited about travel as I am. I love traveling to experience new cultures and learn about art and history. This Europe train trip is just as exciting to me as Iceland or any other destination. I don't feel like I'm sacrificing for this itinerary, but would be if I went on an ocean cruise. With regards to the gossiping, this is unfortunately something that my aunt and my mom's side of the family does often. They will gossip any chance they get. It's not something I enjoy, but I was raised around it, so am just used to it. If she only said it to my mom in concern, that would be one thing, but I know she's telling all of my extended family that I'm not close with, and they're all imagining the worst-case scenarios. I also suspect that she will continue to use my planning this trip as source material for her gossiping. My mom shared what my aunt said in confidence, which I appreciated, because it could have continued happening behind my back without my knowledge. I haven't confronted my aunt because she would know that my mom told her, and it would cause family drama. My plan, if I do disinvite her, would be to explain that I'm going to do something with my sister as a sibling trip, or come up with a similar excuse that doesn't directly state the reason I'm not comfortable with her attending. The reason is, if I say it's because of the comment, she'll know it was my mom, and she may just double down on the gossip about me. I know this is ingenuine and I should be upfront, but it feels easier to just let it pass instead of feeding the flame. I hope this extra info helps with your judgments. I'll continue responding to some comments when I feel it makes sense to. Now for the comments. You would not be the a-hole. Anyone who sides with your aunt can join her in being uninvited. You are providing a generous, well-planned trip. And even with your medical situation, you're still allowed to have and express feelings. Not the a-hole. I found it confusing why your aunt had so much input regarding your trip in the first place. Go where you want to go. Quit accommodating everyone else. Yeah. Tell Auntie you wouldn't want to burden her with a trip she wouldn't enjoy and suggest she take a cruise with a casino by herself. If they think OP is so manic, then why do they want to take her on a gambling holiday? This comment made me chuckle. My aunt has a bit of a gambling problem. She's at our local casino every few weeks, so it's not an extreme problem. Remarking that someone must be off their meds is typically associated with people who are highly manipulative. They use that phrase to gaslight you into thinking you're acting crazy because they aren't getting what they want from you. This woman sounds toxic, and if this is typical behavior from her, I would limit my interactions with her altogether. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I think you are a bit too accommodating and trying to corral too many people with their own preferences. Turn this all back on her. Let your aunt know that her comment hurt you. You can't imagine why she'd do it other than disliking that the trip isn't a casino cruise. And you understand why she can't be part of the trip. Maybe next time. That gives her the opportunity to either apologize or to become defensive, thereby removing herself. Anything negative she says, you turn back on her and use it as justification for why she isn't going on your trip and you aren't including her in any of your plans. Her. You're being overly sensitive. You. Maybe next time we can travel together after I get over being insulted behind my back. Her. What I said wasn't a big deal. You. Maybe insulting people isn't a big deal to you, but it won't make for a fun trip. No point on traveling with people who don't enjoy each other's company. Not the a-hole? Go and enjoy your trip. Invite those who support and love you and who want to make this an experience to never forget. Not sure how far you are in planning, but check out the Interrail and Eurail Travelers Facebook group and the Man in Seat 61 website for loads of tips on train travel in Europe. Sounds like you're only being unstable about this trip because of constant changes being demanded by family because they don't like your choices. And you, understandably, perhaps getting upset and frustrated about that? It's your birthday, your trip, your choice of destinations, activities. Of course you want family and friends to enjoy the trip, and you are being adaptable to some of that. Ultimately, the decision is yours, and if people are going to be offensive about your choices, then tell them they don't have to come, easy as. Personally, I loathe long motor coach trips. I'm fine with trains, so that feels like a reasonable compromise for you to make. The destination feels like a more important thing to stand your ground on. Facilities that aren't really related to travel comfort and are more activity-based. Again, your preferences count most. If someone is so attached to gambling that they won't come unless there is a casino and you're not bothered by the lack of that facility, tough crap. Your aunt has a year to apologize. If she does not do so by the time the deadline for bookings payments has arrived, then I would definitely tell her she's not welcome. You want to enjoy your birthday without feeling like someone is there under protest. Not the a-hole. And I would suggest some therapy to help you draw the boundaries with your family around, I might have a mental illness. I am still an adult with full capacity, the right to make my own choices, and the right to some reasonable respect. You wouldn't tell a random person in a shop or whatever that they must be off their meds. How is it acceptable to say that to a member of your own family who you claim to care about? Thank you for listening. If you like the video, consider like and subscribe. If you want more stories like these, turn on your notification to receive the latest stories.